Hello everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Zakaria the Ghost. Guys, today I decided to share a story about the day I took this picture and tell you what was happening on that day. We were at Vaal as usual, praying under the bridge, and we just saw this boat, approaching to us, cruising slowly, and people were like pointing at our direction. You see other people, telling others in the boat that look at those guys. And as you see here up front here, you see people standing. People were standing in line, even to the lower level. People were standing because they were like shocked to see us, right there sitting next to fire. People started to take out their smartphones to take pictures. And what I did right there, I went to my bag to reach to my bag, and I took out my camera that I was using during that time. It was a smart camera, beautiful camera, and I started pointing at them and taking pictures. And guess what? They started turning their backs, others, they started moving to the other side because they didn't want to be seen. But they feel like they have the privilege and the power to take a homeless person, a picture without their permission. But when it comes to them, they don't want to be taking pictures. That's how I took this picture, because people, sometimes they forget that we are human beings like them. Sometimes when somebody is in a good position whereby they're working for a good company and they went out to have that cruise for that day. I remember it was even cheap, the cruise, we all understand how everything works, but people sometimes they will always think they're better than you. But my move of not using a smartphone, because I was using BlackBerry that time, of not using a smartphone, making sure that I go and take the camera, it made them question, themselves, of saying, how can a guy who is homeless have a smartphone and also a camera and take pictures without even fear, and that felt good, because even the guys that I was with, under the bridge, they were all happy of saying, yes, that feels good, because we were returning the favor to them. And I remember, under the bridge, guys, we were not only people who were poor. There was this other guy who was a lawyer who was also under the bridge. And I'm going to tell you the story about this guy and how I became close to this guy. One day, this guy, he was under the bridge and he was complaining about his wife, because he married two women, beautiful women, and they're all working to different companies. The other one was working at, the railway, and the other one was working for this other corporate company. So now what was happening that day, it was that one of his women who was working to the corporate space, she was driving the Golf 4. During that time, Golf 4 was the biggest deal. So she broke the car, whereby now the fin belt was no longer, operating, and they had to take the car to the mechanic. And after she realized that the car is stuck, she called her husband and she told the husband to come and take the car from there. And now she called the friends who can give her a lift, and she left the car. And now they were having this argument in the house, because the guy was like saying, look, you were driving this other car, and after I bought the Golf 4, you decided to switch from your car to the Golf 4, and I've been using your car all along. Now, because of your Golf 4, you have a breakdown. Now you want to switch back to your old car. It's not going to happen, mama. You have to go to the taxis. And she was like saying, I cannot go to the taxis. And eventually the wife won, because you know how they are. She took the old car and she said, go and fix this car. I want my car within 2 weeks. I cannot be seen driving this. She was driving the Opel Corsa. And she was like saying, I cannot be seen driving this car. You need to fix my Golf 4. So the guy was, the lawyer that I'm talking about, was asking the other guy that is close to, so that he can help him to, tow the car from where it was to the mechanic. So he actually needed somebody who will help him with the Golf 4 while he is driving the Nissan 1400, so that he can take, the car to the mechanic. So this other guy who was very close to him, they were like actually friends, and he started telling him stories. I don't have a driver's license, beside that, I need to be somewhere to do this and that. And the lawyer was like saying, man, it is just to tow the car and that's it. You don't have to do too many things, And I was just sitting next to them and I was just quietly listening to their conversation. And later the guy turned to me, the lawyer turned to me, and he said, man, can you please help me? I said, no, of course I can help you. I was just waiting for you to ask. because I heard what you were telling the other guy. I can help you with that. I have a learners, it's not a big deal. I will be in a polo. So I don't think even the traffic officers will give us any problem. So the guy was so happy and he said, when are you available to go with me? I said, anytime, we can just go now. We jumped to his 1400 and we went there to pull that, Golf 4, and we took it to the mechanic. And the guy was so excited, even if when we arrived, because he just told me that all you have to do, man, is to make sure you know how to drive, is to make sure that the car is on the right lane and we are pulling it to the mechanic. We came back with the 1400. I remember that guy on that day, he went to show me his houses. He has two beautiful houses, in the city. And I saw the houses, the beautiful, beautiful houses. And I saw his second wife, and I also saw his children, But alongside the way, I was asking myself a question: why is this guy, spending a night with us under the bridge if he has, all this success? He has cars, he has houses, he has wives, and he's working to the good company. He's a lawyer. And he shared a story with me, and he said, Thabo, the reason why you see me, going to that place all the time is because of when I was still in my secondary school, I was always sick. My late mother was always taking me to different doctors, but they couldn't know what was the problem about me. So until I started going to, that place at the river, I think somebody told him to go there and watch there and pray there sometimes. So he started going there regularly. So even by the time he was still, starting in secondary, like he said, he used to go with books. They always know that there is this boy who will always visit here and he's still a student, and they always respected him because that place, guys, has been there for many years, whereby you find people who were way older than us who were praying there. Others, they were praying there until it was their time for them to go and get married, or their time for them to go and get jobs which were far from Vereeniging, whereby they cannot go there all the time. But now the more they go, the other people, come to that place, and it was always like that, And now he passed his matric and he also went to do law, and he was still going there praying and also reading his books. And he said his biggest thing was just to read while he was under the bridge when all those elder people were praying and everything. And later he graduated, he got the job, and he met his first wife, second wife, the whole story. And now he also told me about the books that I should read, books that he think that they will help me a lot, and he also, told me about Credo Moto, and that the Credo Moto, he told me about the Dalai Lama. He told me the stories about Umhlabo Yalingana. There is this other gentleman at Umhlabo Yalingana who only wake up early in the morning and go and drink the hippo milk or whatever. So he used to tell me those kind of stories. And man, the guy was amazing. And we had times whereby we used to sit down and talk about, food. Because I remember one day he looked at me and he said, Thabo, don't worry much, because all the things that I have here, you will have them and even more. He was telling me that you're going to achieve a lot of stuff, because when I look at you, I see you eating food platter. I see you, at the buffets. I see you being respected. I see you with a lot of people, surrounded by white people. People are drinking their wines and alcohol, and you only drink juice. He was also telling me that I see you going to lots of business meetings, your work being celebrated. He was like telling me all this type of stuff. And we were sitting down most of the time, talking about, what is the best, place to make pizza. And everybody was busy mentioning, the names of the shops that they prefer. I just don't want to mention names here because of promotion and everything. And now it was just great. I remember one day he was sharing the story with me. He was telling me that one day around past 6, 7, he decided to go and fetch his woman from work. By the time they were still dating, they were not married. And they saw this other lady who must be, late 40s to 50s, stranded because of now the taxis were finished to where she was going. And, she was just stranded. And the lady that he was with, who became the wife later, said to him, we cannot leave this woman alone here. next to taxi rank at night. Can we just at least give her a lift, and ask where she's going, and if she's going too far from us, and we can give her a place to stay for a night, and they stopped the car, and he said he was against that. He didn't want to pick up strangers on the street and take them to his home, because he thought it was not the right thing. So many things can happen besides, thinking about her waking up early in the morning and claiming some other stuff, So they stopped there, spoke with her, and she was going to another place which was far, and they realized that the taxis were finished. So they decided to take her, and they said no, she will use the guest room. Everything was fine. They arrived at home, they ate, everything was good. She took her bags and put those bags in her room where she was going to sleep. Nothing was wrong. And at night around 2 o'clock, the guy said he just felt the movements in the house. He didn't understand what was actually going on. And he woke up only to find out that this woman was walking around in the house. Actually, she wanted to go out, but she couldn't go out. So she was walking around and see if maybe she can find a place where she can get out, maybe the door or whatever, because the guy's house is butlers everywhere. And now he asked, the woman, what is wrong, mama? It's 2 o'clock. You were supposed to be sleeping. And she said, no, I want to go. And it became a biggest problem because she wanted to go right there by 2 o'clock early in the morning. And they tried to speak with her, and she was becoming angry and angry. And she said, I want to go because of the things that I have in this bag. They are supposed to be at a certain place. And now if I am not arriving to that place, it's going to be a problem. So now the guy said, they had to let her go at night because now she was angry and she was starting to fight and all this type of stuff. And he told me exactly what was in the bag, but I cannot just mention all those type of things because sometimes I just realized that people, most of the time when you're sharing stories, they just quick to hate and comment so bad and reply so bad. And these are stories. I just love to tell stories, guys. I like to share stories. They let her go, and later, they had to sit down and talk about the whole situation. And the guy has to go and apologize to the woman of saying, listen, we almost brought, a problem in the house. Because imagine if that lady did whatever she did to us, it was going to be a mess. And imagine if we had children in the house also, we were going to put our children in danger. But because of prayer, because of God is amazing. They survived the night, and they were asking themselves a question: why did she agree to go with them if she knew exactly that the things that she has in the bag, they were going to retaliate, they were going to fight with her, because she was actually supposed to be at a certain place. It looks like she knew that they were going to use that road. It looks like she knew them, And later on that day, they had to come and call somebody to come and cleanse the house and make sure that the house is in a good space, whereby they will have the good energy in the house. Because actually, you will never know what people may live. You will never know if she was spending a night in that room and what will really happen in that room. And that's how I just wanted to talk about, what really happened on part 2 of my first trip to Vaal. I am going to drop another video, or I'm going to share another story with you guys where I will be telling you about how we used to, sit down and cook and have fun and go to, Roots Butchery and go to, Boxer at Vereniging. Thank you.